So hopefully it's not cutting in and cutting out, but let me know if it is. Hello, Sonia, my darling. So what I'm popping on here is in regards to the solstice energies and what's being evoked from that, what's coming from that for us in this group, those of you that are going to be joining us Star Tribes of Light on the solstice, the 21st, which is at 7:30 European time, 6:30 UK, 1:30 USA EDT. I pulled some cards today. I was up watching the sunset and it was a magnificent sunset and so much colors and felt like I was just soaking up all the colors of the sun that was coming through as it just went down below the horizon. And where I was a beside a little armitage, a little church that was dedicated to the Divine Mother. And I felt her presence so strong. And I felt the presence and the imagery of bridges come through. And I mentioned that in one of my lives. And it felt like we're being asked to let go of everything not serving us, our stories, our attachments, so that we can glide over the bridge, right? Or even if it's snowing and you want to sleigh and you just want to sleigh over, where we don't have to build a bridge and then try and work our way across, that there's an ease and a grace to this as long as we're releasing and letting go. There was a big kind of message around that. And the Wednesday, yesterday, before I held the Light Language Level 2 group, there was a huge source of energy that came through regarding all the portals that are opening right now for the solstice. And as I was walking up from, I went to the beach for a little walk and was walking up towards the apartment before I started the course. I was in this little laneway, right? A little like all these old houses either side. And I kind of started weighing and swaying as if I was a little tipsy. I didn't have anything to drink, but it looked like I did. I could feel this huge opening in my crown. And it felt like I was being swarmed. I could see them, right? They weren't physically there. It was the dimensional imprint of children swarming me, all wearing all types of colors, all colors of children. And they were taking my hands and saying, "Follow us, join us. We're waiting for you." Even just saying that out loud. And what I got was that was a message for us to bring into the space that we're we're being invited. We're almost like the torchbearers of the new generations coming forward right now. And a big part of that means we're here to build the soul communities, create the soul families, to allow these new energies to flourish, these new souls that are wanting to spark off here. And there's a big constriction in the world right now regarding that, and kids and what they're, you see these young kids around and what they're experiencing. I mean, they're living a different life to what we grew up in. So this whole idea of expansion, this whole idea of freedom, this whole idea of the rays of the rainbow, all colors, and that felt important and significant, that we're working with the frequencies of all colors coming through, red and blue and orange and green and crystalline and gold and white, all these beautiful colors coming in. And this sense of play, lift the load off, let the stories go behind you, take the hands and trust and walk forward over the bridge. They were showing me a bridge. Now this for me felt like we're leaving the energies not serving us of constriction, of separation, of what's not possible, of confinement, lack of feeling like we're sovereign. All right, it doesn't mean it's true, but it's that feeling, scarcity, where we're maybe even stuck in the unconscious stories we don't even know are there, emotions, energies, traumas, whatever it was. And it was almost like, let it go, rewrite, new timeline, new portals coming up. The bridge is here. Get quiet, release, heal, forgive, compassion, to see the bridge, to feel the bridge, the inner guidance where the bridge is. What is that bridge for you? What is that connection? Because bridges are about connection. They connect lands, they connect people. All right, there's a bridge to connect parts of our bodies as well, regarding, like, you have your nose bridge, you've got bridges between synapses, all these kind of things. Everything is around that, these connective parts. So I know I'm rambling a little, but I'm going to show you what came through with the cards, and I'm going to maybe pull one or two for others as well, because this is for for you if you're watching. This is for you if you want to tune in. Right, so the very first one, and this was, we have two dragon cards. The first one here is around attachment, right? And that message came through before I pulled the card. I pulled it a couple hours later. This is around releasing scarcity, letting go of scarcity. And also it says accumulation. We may come into riches as well, but noticing what's serving us, what's not. What do we need to let go of to allow the new in as well? Maybe there's a lower frequency of materials that we need to let go of, right? Things, places, people, so that we call in and call forth that which is in a more aligned vibration. Scarcity for me, whenever I see that as well, is very much in the DNA, and a lot of DNA ancestral baggage with that. So we're releasing and revoking, rescinding of that. Scarcity where there's been pillaging and sacrilege and rape of the lands, of the everything around us. Again, a release, a healing, a forgiving, a letting go of that, and entering into the abundance codes of all that is. Defensiveness is in this card as well, that we have to protect, that we have to hide or scurry away or hoard. Now, why did that card come out? And I feel like we're going to see a little bit of that energy come to us in 2022, and we're being prepared for it now. Are any of us hoarding anything with that like energy? Are we bulk buying with the view of there won't be enough? There's nothing wrong with being prepared. It's where is the energy? Is the energy in fear of scarcity, fear of not enough? And for this, there's that thing around the gas prices, inflation, like this card is preparing us regarding physical wealth as well. Now, this is also around attachment to stories, programs, attachment to who we think we are, the rules that we've built around who we are. Our identity, which maybe isn't true. So we're being invited to release, revoke, rescind, delete all and everything not serving us regarding this, which is maybe tethering us to energies and emotions and feelings no longer serving us. People, places, or things. Governments, schools, families, whatever it might be that's not serving us or not serving the highest good. So we're going to invite that energy to release, revoke, rescind, delete. It's also opening us up to receive abundance. To come into a space of non-attachment, not detachment, which is I don't care, and kind of a fecit thing, right? I don't care. Because we're here in a physical body, there is a level of beingness present, operating in the 3D, operating in the physicality of the body. And yet being in non-attachment, recognizing all that we can create, that everything that is material is maneuverable as well. You can bring in more, attract more, and release what you don't need. So attachment there to stories, to things, to wealth, to scarcity, to not good enough, and the defensiveness that creates separation. The word neediness is coming up, and I'm getting something around even relationships, where it's not free-flowing, where it's not aligned, or I'm getting vibrational matching, where there's perhaps a neediness and then a revulsion of that and a push-pull thing, or codependency as well. So there's a releasing of that. People-pleasing, codependency. We're going to invite that to clear through all time, space, dimensions, and realities. This is also linked to the throat and expression. Next card. Practically similar in essence. Here we see the tethering of those working their way free. We're unbound is the card. Release. Releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. I mentioned ancestral. Here we're into the big part of the karmic thing, what we've come to experience on earth, and how we're reworking, rewiring those old programs within us, as well as communities and as the individual. Unbound ourselves, unbound, releasing soul patterns. What are soul patterns? Creating something to learn something. So the creation could be a good creation or it can be a not so good creation. It can be something we enjoy to experience as a soul pattern or something we really don't enjoy to experience as a soul pattern. So it's recognizing what is not needed and releasing and rewiring to what it is we wish to create. Harmony, balance, alignment. And again, this thing of freedom, stepping into freedom, so that we are creating. The next one is this, was pulled last night in my group as well. Here we have the orange dragon. The orange dragon is all about bringing soul families and communities together, spreading belonging, warmth, and oneness. Belonging, warmth, and oneness. It says as well here that the desire to belong is one of the most fundamental needs of all people. We choose our families, our communities, and countries before birth, and this is usually where we feel comfortable and accepted. Now, it says that, but oftentimes it may not be true. It may be that we've chosen the opposite of that and we're moving towards what we do want to create. Since the Industrial Revolution, there's been fragmentation of families, wars, and separation from loved ones. So here it feels like the orange dragons are here to awake us spiritually so that we look for common humanity among people, take down the barriers, take down the division, take down the separation as we awaken up. And this is about experiencing oneness everywhere, feeling of belonging at home in your body, at home in your community, feeling of belonging with those that you wish to create family with, warmth, love. These dragons are here to bring the soul families together, to bring the soul communities. What is Star Tribes of Light? That was created from this very intention. That was the vision I held when I invited all of us ladies to come and co-create this space. This is about the new golden age that is coming. These dragons are coming through right now to clear away those cobwebs and make us remember, allow us to remember, invite us to remember what it is we need to be, what it is we need to attract, who it is we want to co-create with, and bring through that community. These dragons breathe out flames of acceptance, of warmth, of happiness that connect people in peace. Right now in the world, it kind of feels like everything is the opposite of that, right? It's all about right and wrong, left and right, V or not to V, right? Like it's the total opposite. This is around coming into oneness with all of it, non-attachment again. Recognize that this one is on the bridge and it's got bindings that are releasing. So it felt like that message again was being shown to us. Kunlanahe oshakwa sorokoye. We're here to invite you to spread your wings wide. And empower thyself with all of the knowledge that was within you. It feels like they're saying to break down the barriers that we're holding even inside, internally, to accessing our divine nature, our truth. That it's all there, that we're almost pulling the wool over our own eyes. Because maybe we're afraid to see the truth of all that we are. Maybe we're afraid of being in that full power. Maybe we're afraid of rejection. That was a big one that came up for me this week. Or abandonment. We're not good enough. We'll fail if we be all that we be. Maybe these are false fears and we don't realize they're there. They're unconscious. If anything of what I'm saying is kind of niggling at you, just take a breath in. And invite that release, revoke, rescind, delete as well. So this dragon with orange, and again the sunset tonight was reminding me of that. The navel orange, the sacral orange, creation energy orange, oranges as well, divine feminine. All signs of abundance, oranges. And I was passing the orange trees on the way up yesterday and smelling those zestiness, the abundance of nature all around. And that the orange is also a symbol of succulence. You know, it's beautiful. Clearing our sacral so that we are in full creation mode is big, and that we're releasing the illusion, the veils that we have around us, the cloudiness right now. And he's saying the collective cloudiness, because if we're to build communities, he's showing me his flames now. Right? He's doing that. He's like, to burn away with the orange flame, that collective cloud around community, so that we see each other, we recognize each other, and we migrate towards each other, whether it's online or whether it's in person. That we're all keys and codes for each other. Is there anything else that wants to come through? He's showing me as well that all of the children that came yesterday, like thousands, hundreds, zap zap jab jib jup jab 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 jib jib jup jib jab 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 dam dam so the dimensional portals are being shown, and that these souls are coming through these portals Abshanya from even other dimensions. Abshanya kia kagia okania. Some of these are brand new souls, like sparkling brand new. And that there's a readying, a laying of the foundation with this energy here of creating the communities so they can safely anchor in. This is part of some of our missions and we don't even realize it. And it can be as simple as you're doing what you're doing right now, but you're doing it in the love and the joy that you be. You're doing it with the full love of your heart. And listening to the nudges within. So that's what he's saying there. And he's saying, this is bringing me to this card. This is all for the 21st of December, okay? Inner guidance. So the inner guidance, the answers are within us. And that sense of the orange flame of that beautiful dragon will burn away where we're having any clouding around what that truth is as well. So we're inviting that in. First, to build communities, there must be a connection within the self. To build communities with strong foundations, without illusions, not from the head space, the ego space, but from the heart, from the womb space and the solar plexus, from the divine will, divine heart center. Listening to the inner guidance is, it's a must. It's like bing on the dotted line there, number one. And I'm just getting the sense of the Syrian council coming through. And what I'm seeing is like a group of individuals. What is it that you wish to show and impart to us? We are the Syrian Council, and we've come to impart to you that there are new technologies coming forward. These new technologies will help upgrade the DNA sequencing. Me sondara, me sonkima, esho shararia. Mashwarivara Hawaye, Habshakwai Niria, Lesundara Hawati Kia Gandananaye, Hamdanana Kwe Sikiata Kawashu, Esum Danana Waru Koetria, Bashwayetri. Habshakanye, we're coming to show you that even through differences, as we align with one heart, we can create and build a new foundation for new communities. They're showing me that their civilizations have combined and integrated other civilizations, and this is like what we would consider ancient, and they're giving me the example of the lyre and Syrian. And it's time for us to open our hearts to all possibilities of what family might look like, what new community can look like. And sometimes we may have attachment. And what I'm getting the word is tribalism. And that tribalism can even be in your workplace, right? They're showing me that it has a benefit but that we can become attached to what that looks like and then not be open to all new possibilities. They're inviting a release of tribalism. And so it is. Thank you. Now they're going to come through again on the 21st. And they're going to be bringing more councils with them. And that they're showing me through Sirius, there's a stargate. And that stargate, that portal dimensional, is going into other dimensions not yet known, not yet seen, of new energies, new frequencies, new beings, new information to help further and awaken what it is, the cause here on earth, creating this golden age. Is this true? Yes, and more. Okay, thank you. Part of the new technologies around healing from the Syrian healers. Who's a Syrian healer here? You're going to have some new stuff come through. There's lots of violet light coming in with that. Last card. We're having the Christ consciousness come through, the Divine Mother energy come through. This is the time of the Divine Mother rising, the Divine Feminine rising. And again, when I say that, I just get chills all over. Now, Anna is the grandmother of Jesus in the classical biblical sense. If we go a little deeper into that, we can see her here in this as well. And here she is as a huge portal to all sacred sites on earth. Okay, you have Thor, you have the Sphinx, you have the ancient Mayans, you have a couple other countries kind of represented in this, and you have the Rose, the Magdalene, you have the Venus energy. You've got a lot here, and she's representing the wisdom of the crone, right? And she's representing the wisdom of Divine Mother. She's also here because she is the mother of Mary. Again, a divine conception, a light conception. Who taught, if you were to say this, Jesus how to resurrect? It was her, right? She held the codes of resurrection, rejuvenation. It is stated even in the Bible that she was really old. Some sources say a couple of 100 years old, depends on what you want to believe in. But she definitely held a lot of the sacred knowledge, mystery school stuff within her. And she's here to help us remember, reawaken, and recode us to activate that once again within the dormant DNA strands. She's also here about community because she helps see. Without her, there would have been no Mary. Without Mary, there would have been no Jesus. Without Jesus, there would have been no Christ consciousness taking root on earth. Yes, it got inverted, but it's here, right? The seeds of it are here and it's being reactivated and it's coming back in stronger, even more. Whether you wish to believe that or not, it's just a perception again, right? This is all perception. So it's just one way of me describing that energy that's happening right now. This is about oneness. Act as if it is so, that the light is one. One heart, one love. That we had a vision, she says. We had a vision of every being on earth holding hands across the earth, united in one love and one truth, one mission, in service to each other, to source, to creator, in service to earth. Releasing and detaching, or not where the attachment wants to service to self. She's showing me two distinct, service to self and service to others. She's showing me two distinct world views, two distinct world perceptions. And this is bringing us back to this again. That attachment is a service to self. And she's kind of shaking her head because within me, I have got some programs running. And she's showing me service to self and service to others. She's showing me service, and she's like, you have equated that with martyrdom. She's showing me that. She's going like that a little bit right now because that's my background. And she's saying that is not correct, right? So I don't know if those of you might resonate with what I'm saying, simply because she's actually working with me right now. And she's saying that's actually another form of service to self, because martyrdom, which is not 100% was intended like that sacrificial energy. Yes, it was there, but it was there for a reason in that time. And I'm asking her, is that still needed right now? And she's like, no, the times for that is over. Giving with ulterior motives, let's say, like that's a service to self. So she's asking for us to move into the non-attached, the giving from the heart, but yet we're full. We have fulfilled the service to self in the way that we are released, we are clear, we're full, right? All of us is full. The energy is full. The love is full. The gifts are full, so that we can be our full potential to give in service to others. And she's saying we're made stronger by coming together in doing this. That it's sometimes where we have gaps, the strengths of others will fill those gaps. It's like holding the hands of others. That co-creative energy helps bring us along faster in our journeys. Ramdo Sundari Tarato Diatara Mundorokore Gara Saporoto Rit At Iashkua Iaka Untek E Asoroko Esiti Danea Sakao Sorokoye Amjnakwa Isiria Taka Alia Trasono Kuya Mesho Tirivi Sirutru Majavarahala Saduriaha Eso Tekidia Larasu Orasati Kushua Mashwakio. She's giving me a little clearing. You may also receive, if it's necessary for you, Kuturara. Meo Soraka si Isum Datia Lara Eapsak Ant Kuya Shitri Mosho Avara Zidim Ahala Yara Takumata I. Komoshokatan Mahalia Kia Saboshoye. Take a breath in if that's resonating with you. She's definitely working on me right now. So I'm going to say thank you. She's saying call us all in right now. So she's saying welcome in your soul family. This is in preparation for what is to come on the 21st. Firm foundations, embodiment, rootedness, release, fear, not safe, scarcity. And I'm hearing like how, I'm hearing even some like how. And she's like, feel the feelings. Remember that as a young child I took, and she's showing me Jesus, into the wilds where when he was overwhelmed, she's showing him, he looks like he's 6 or 7. And it looks like as a massive empath, clairsentient, he was like a sponge absorbing, and some part of his system would get totally overwhelmed. And she would kind of, I wonder was there others with her, but she's just showing me her, and she's taking him into a quiet space, kind of like it's in a mountain and there's a cave and I can hear some animals. And she's saying, there we sat, we held a fire, there we sat together. And I showed him how to connect to his breath. I showed him the ancient traditions. We sat cross-legged around the fire, brought the bodies into earth, and I taught him to breathe. And she's showing me that she put her hands on certain parts of his body and aligned them in the sitting and relaxed the shoulders she touched. And she asked him to feel. And she showed me him having screaming fits, this little child. Like he was a human child, she's saying. Abshanyaki, he had to too learn to feel. And she goes, so many of us refuse to feel fully. We rise above it or we try and escape it. Numb it out. Absakiaga, Yuriawama, logic our way out of the feeling. We'll scratch the surface of it. And she's saying, we can't afford to do that anymore. It is part of the human divine nature to feel, to feel and to fully let it out of the body, move it out of the body, speak it out of the body, sing it out of the body. Breathe it out of the body without attachment to it, without trying to give it a story, a meaning. Oh, okay. As I'm saying this, I'm clicking, okay? So I'm having some realignment as she's showing me this. So I'm going to invite in any healing that she used to carry out some healing techniques. So we're going to invite her to heal us as well, just tonight. Would you please do that? She's saying some of you watching are quite dehydrated and you need more water. Water will help with the release as you release physically. Just tell me to breathe. I'm going to release the shoulders. Okay, so she's coming in with quite a lot of information, and I don't want to spend too long more. She's laughing as I say that. And I go, well, is there anything else that you wish to share, please? She's saying that we are witnessing you all as, and she is showing me the divine feminine rising. It's an energy. It's like it's almost coming from the core of our being, male and female. Like this is for everybody, man, woman, child, and earth. And she's saying we're the resistance to that. Like there's some belief systems, and then there's some rules, and there's energies as well. All right, this whole old cultural energy, patriarchal energy, institutional energy, like all that's been uplifted as this comes up. This feels like the Kali-esque nature of destruction, but it's really just rising up of an energy that looks to us sometimes like, holy crap, everything's falling apart. But it's almost like if, you know, an earthquake was to happen, the foundations of a house that's not stable will start to shake. If it's not meant to stand, it won't. It's going to crumble. But the energy is there. It rises up into new creation. Just like a volcano creates fertile lands of new growth. This is the same effect of that energy. I'm just seeing this rebirth renewal. She's like, now you're getting it. That's what she's saying to me. She's like, now you're getting it. Because I think a part of me, and I don't know if this is true for you, is a little bit, especially when I look down the timelines and I see a couple, I'm like, wow, okay, there goes the banking system, there goes the school system, there goes the health, what's going to happen to people, right? So somebody was looking at that, and then I'm like, okay, no, I'll focus on this one here. What's this one? And I'll see a couple of different timelines. Some of it was good and some of it wasn't, and it's having to let go of what isn't good, because I'm giving something yes and a no, right and a wrong, good and bad, and I'm not allowing the energy to do what it needs to do. I'm trying to control it, even when I'm seeing the future, right? And that's not how we're meant to be. You might even sense it when you breathe it in, because it's an energy, it's like out there. And we just need to feel it, let it go, and trust that all is completely divine. And she's telling me, read the bottom of this, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. Can we trust that this is all part of the divine plan? No matter the interference, no matter what deck of cards that these interferences, energies wishes to do, there is a divine plan. And it's happening no matter what. The bridges have already been built, and all we must do is follow the path, trust the path, and walk across together. So that's the message for the 21st of December. I'm going to breathe that in. I'm going to check into some of the comments here. I'm getting a pinch in the left side around responsibility as well. And is that me? And is that also feels like it's collective. It's not just me. So release the workers and delete that. What's that around, please? Getting it right. Now this feels like an accessing to access the inner guidance. It feels like when we've done that before, and we've attempted to do it before, and we've been in the full power, we've used our gifts, we've used it, and then it went ape shite wrong. Okay. And we're like, there's a subconscious or an unconscious. It doesn't mean it's actually we're aware of it, around a fear of that as well. Is that true? Something like that. Can we clear that, please? I'm seeing the orange flame again. I invite that Holy Spirit flame through to clear and to purify. Mush, Vajia, Kia, Shikina, Shikina, Shikina. Okay, I'm going to look at some of the messages that are here because I can't read them, unfortunately. I have to kind of scroll. Hello, Sonia and Lindsay and Penny and Michelle and Jean. Michelle, hello. And we have Angelina. Hello, my darling. And we have Michelle Smith. And you woke with those words this morning and reminders of the divine feminine rising. And you've been looking at that too regarding the timelines. I know. Do you know what I noticed, Michelle, that I was unconsciously doing, and maybe a little bit of consciousness is I was like, okay, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see how it's coming. And then I was sneakily kind of dialing it down, which means numbing out, not intuitively from the heart, being able to dial down, which is an intuitive control where you can do that. You can open and close like a flower, open up to the sun and close down in the night. It was more like I'm just going to plaster on some plaster facade over that because I don't really want to fully feel it and see it, which is a form of numbing. So I had gone into some unknown when I didn't even realize it until it was done. I was like, oh, gotta come back out of that. And that's like unfelt fears, unrecognized emotions of whatever it was. For me, it was a rejection, actually, that was coming up, which is separation, not being accepted for who I am. And it was showing up big time in the family stuff. Regarding judgment and things like that. And I was like, thought I had worked through it, and then I realized, oh no, there's some old ancient stuff coming up that I gotta feel, and I had to feel it. And feeling it fully really surprised me how rooted it was until I really felt it and sat with it and love myself despite that, right? Whoa. Yeah, even saying it, like I'm still integrating today, by the way, because this is recent. Lindsay, I have a pain in the left side of my neck for a few months now. Okay, I'm feeling there's something there with that as well. Is any of that related to purpose and placement? The word placement's coming up. What does that mean? Placement. Placement in what? Placement in where you're living? Is it? I'm just going to say things out loud. It's placement in your relationship, placement where you're living, placement in your finances, placement in your purpose, placement in the timeline. So I want to also say is where I am I where I should be by now? There's something as well around timeline stuff. And that's, I feel, is linked into the divine plan thing. Now, those of us that consciously move up and down timelines, and those of us that even move dimensionally through parallel timelines, so those of you that experience Mandela effects, glitches in the matrix, one day you're in a different timeline because everybody's different the next day, that kind of crazy stuff that happens. Is there any questioning there, unconsciously or consciously? Am I in the right timeline? There's something there around that. I'm feeling like we should know how to control that. Is that real, true? Something there. I'm not quite hitting on the head. There's something around that. Release, focus, and delete anything not serving us along that, please. That's about attachment as well. Like, I might even know. It's maybe even around getting it right as well. This feels ancient, by the way. It doesn't really feel fully like it's anchored in this lifetime. It feels like a loop from an older timeline running through. When I say older timeline, even another lifetime, right? Like at a soul level, manipulator of times, those of us that were able to do that. Lindsay, I feel like you used to do that. Anger, frustration down there as well. Release, focus, and delete. And there's an upgrade happening in the spinal cord down into the roots. So you've got Kundalini energy running up and down there. And there's something around safety. I need, like, are you doing lots of, it looks like Kegels. That's what I'm kind of doing, right? Like, it's not like you're opening and closing. It's that you're moving that and opening it deeper, sitting deeper into the sacred sex area as well. Because there's loads of energy there. and you might click. There's a realignment that'll bring you into a deeper breath. Something around accessing tantric breathing and tantric energy. I don't want to be cheeky asking stuff about, are you in a relationship right now? You'd be like, stay out of my sex life, Mary. So I'm going to just say, like, without it sounding creepy, this energy kind of wants to work out in that way. It doesn't mean it has to be expressed that way, but like through the body, like there's a texture in that energy around that. And it's about empowerment as our femininity, divine feminine rising as well. And anywhere in the back that it's not supported, release, focus, and delete. Anywhere there's like a lack of flexibility, release, focus, and delete. That might be not Lindsay, by the way, somebody else. Who's that? My warrior hand is up. Now this is the fight energy, the warrior priestess. The warrior shaman, the fight against the dark energy coming up as well. So like I'm seeing the stance of the warrior, I'm seeing like her spear, if you want to call it that, but also that's the magic hand, the spell casting hand. Undo and revoke all and any that's not in the highest good there, please. Spoken word, thought, and the magic hand, where it's not been in the highest good, but it was done from an intention to help and serve, but it didn't turn out that way. That's linked to Atlantean energy, okay? So there's some link here with that. And then we're seeing as well that you could almost say that same thing happened here. It didn't quite go as they planned. They thought when the Messiah was coming, they were entering that golden era right then and there. It's already 2,000 years later, right? And we're still in that, like, we're breathing ourselves into it. And anywhere we try to kind of there's something around the fight in the dark. And this is about a perspective. The perspective of the warrior is different to the perspective of the peacemaker. They both want peace, but they're coming from two different stances, two different perspectives. They both want what's best. Is one better than the other? No, not necessarily. In fact, perhaps there is an aligning of both those energies to come into the truth. I feel like I need to say that. And what would that look like? What would that be? What would that mean in the astral realms at night? What would that mean in the daily, quote unquote, struggles with humanity that we're having right now on Earth? I need to breathe into that as well. What does that mean? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Whereas it's not like the warrior fight, but it's also not that feeling of sitting on the Himalayan mountain and doing nothing. There's some type of an alignment, a new perspective. They were the two old options, and now there's something that can be created anew. Can we be open to that possibility, that potential? What needs to be released to allow that? I'm feeling even tingles on my head, like I need to rewire something of what I've been told is possible. Release, focus, and delete, and what I've experienced. Because then I'm like, well, I've only experienced it one way or the other. Now, okay, Lindsay, I am in your energy, if you're okay with that. And what I'm getting is one of your masters coming through. And it feels very guru-like, remaster-like, you know. It feels like a male showing itself to me in that way. As in, this was some being you worked with also in previous timelines. Perhaps you were on an equal footing, but he's here as a guide right now. And what he's saying there is, let's not get too caught up in the contemplation. And that, in fact, when we meld the action with the contemplation, so it feels like, you go out for a walk to think about things, you get more clarity than if you try to sit and meditate sometimes. It's like change it up, bring in the movement with the contemplation meditation. Why is he saying that? It's like he's showing me digestion. He's chewing because I can't, it's not like I can hear him. He's not speaking in English to me. He's speaking in light language and I'm having to translate. So he's chewing and digesting, having to chew and digest all of the information outside of ourselves, trying to make sense of it. And then it can get stuck. And then I feel like there's a formation of a plan. And if it's like war plan, why am I talking about war all the time? There's some energy of warrior. That served in the past. What is the new way? Take out the languaging of war. We are here building communities. And back to this energy. That's where the focus needs to be. Because that's what was. It might look like they're shouting loud around us right now, but this is what is, bringing our soul families and communities together. And that doesn't take up as much energy in digesting what needs and wants to happen and how we counteract it, what moves we have to make on the chessboard so that we survive. It's something else entirely. He's saying, would you give permission for a communication pathway and channel to open between you once again as it has before in the future? Are you here if the eye is good? Though, moon check. Are you here if the eye is good? Are you here if the eye is good? What is it that you wish to impart? So I'm questioning the beings that are coming through. You can see me doing that now. So I just use the law of 3 to check in with that. Because his frequency is different. It's more in the human realm of things. Like, it's not like he's an angel, right? So I'm just checking in with his consciousness, and he is here to impart knowledge and truth. That's what he's saying. He does a lot of this with his chin. Okay, he's got like a little beard. Okay, that's all good. Thank you. Thank you, Lindsay, for allowing me to access that as well. Ah, how interesting. All right. Hello, Mairead. Who asked for a card? I'm going to roll up and then finish this. Somebody asked for a card earlier, and I'm going to pull one for you if I can find where you were. I can't see who it was. Oh no. Michelle is saying she felt the separations and the family stuff coming up as well. I know. It is. It can feel like a challenge. Okay, so warrior priestess moving through the body. And Atlantis, you got that as well. Okay, cool. Divine neutrality. Yeah. I'd like to be there sometime soon too. Let's make that an intention. Ah, Lord. Hi, Marie. Hi, Claire. Okay, it was Sonia. I can see you writing again. Sorry, I have to literally scroll because it was Sonia Beverly. Okay, Sonia Beverly. I'm just gonna set these aside and just see where I'm being called to, what I'm being called to for a card deck, because I have several card decks. Divine Feminine. Okay, thank you. I feel like there's 2 though. Why is there 2? Can I not just keep this simple? I can hear your guys laughing. Which is it? This, yeah? Okay, so Divine Feminine. So we're picking this deck here. Sonia Beverly, please. The highest good. Picking a card for the highest good. I don't know if you have a question or intention. I'm just doing the highest good, whatever message wants to come through. Can you breathe deeply in? And kind of like, oh, and when you do that, let go of the back and the perineum and the back passage and the urethra and the, like you're just, whoa, opening and softening like a flower, everything down there. Let the breath come down. So you feel super activated, like there's lots coming in. And at the same time, something around the solar plexus feels there. That's what I'm getting right now. There might be something else. What is in the solar plexus? Then again, it's that freedom, sovereignty, empowerment, disempowerment, power taken, power given away. That can look like the voice, it can look like the body, it can look like energy or manipulation of thoughts, it can look like physicality, like, physical things, right? Taken. Or relationships, or being denied, something around denial, no permission given. So wherever that's true, release, revoke, rescind, delete. Any vow, oath, decision created, release, revoke, rescind, not in the highest good, please, right here, right now. I'm just saying that out loud to breathe into that. I'm getting, I don't know if it's also this, I'm getting this lifetime as well. So there's some soul pattern coming up, and that's reflecting the card we pulled around unbinding. Releasing soul patterns. There's a soul pattern showing up for you. I wonder, I'm going to use that word. I wonder, is there a soul pattern showing up? As I say that, I get a yes. It's quite loud. But I don't want to put words in your mouth. I don't want to put feelings in your mouth. So I need you to feel into that, Sonia. I need to be very careful I don't do that. Because the answers are always within you. It's for you to feel what's true or what's not true. Oh, I'm going to breathe again, because when I'm tapping in there, the root, which is why I kind of asked you, can you breathe? And then it's like sigh, like you're in a hot bath, all the way into the urethra, and just notice if you're holding there. And then do that for the vulva, do it for the vagina opening, right? Do it for the perineum and do it for the back passage. It's like you're going to bring your awareness as you're breathing and exhaling. Whoa, because there's something going on between the womb space and the root space. Like I can feel a line, like a cut. I don't know how to say that. What is that? It's like there's a film between both, and our spaces work there interchangeably, like they can commune as one, the root and sacral, and they could be individual, but it feels super separated. It's some separation, a film. It's not even separation, it's something like a film, which makes it hard for the energies to kind of move up and move down and co-create with each other and be harmonized in that infinite cycles. Which means it's going to be very challenging in some areas to bring forth your creations into the manifested essence of what we see and touch and feel and smell and taste around us. So you might have all the creative energy here, right? But it can be almost super hard work to bring it into fruition outside of this, like, when we try to manifest. So there's something there that wants to kind of drop. Now I said I saw a soul pattern. That's not, I actually tapped into that. This is something, sure it's all connected. That wasn't exactly what I saw. The soul pattern had to do with a relationship or relationships. I specifically saw, but it didn't feel like I was seeing you in this life. I saw you in another life. And it looked like either a partner relationship or a father-daughter relationship, or an authority, someone under an authority relationship, but it was feminine, authority, male, female, like male, female. And I'm going to just check in. Is that true? Is that true? Is that true? I'm getting yes, yes, yes. So I want you to feel into that. What does that mean? What does that look like? What's showing up representing that in your life right now? Maybe it's something old that's simmering and wants to be released, like an old relationship, if it's not physically in your face right now. And that's what I found out today. I started going through loads of stuff from childhood that I thought I dealt with, and I was like, oh God, and I was just getting into a deeper layer. And I was like, oh, God, I thought I had that done. And I'm being humbled once again. So it could be something like that. The card moved is the Diamond Hearted Dakini. Now, diamond light's coming in big. I see the light in my own darkness. I face my ego beliefs to feel free. Okay, the Divine Will Center. Let me see, can you see this as well? Is that kind of close enough to see? Magic Labron, if I can even pronounce that properly. The Diamond Hearted Dakini. Now, have a look at the sound instruments, the light language through sound. Okay, frequency and sound. It said the seed sounds of Sanskrit and Telugu came from the beating of this drum with the ancient gods and goddesses. How language formed even. It's the dum dum ding da dum ding da dum ding da da So you have this very bass resonant down here, and then you have this very higher ding 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 ding. Can you feel the contrast? Even like this is like the male dong ding 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 dong ding 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 dong ding ding. So you kind of frequency resonances here that there's one around the heart, one around the womb. And Abun the Bashmaya is what's coming in. And Abun the Bashmaya is ancient Aramaic, and that comes from Mother, Father, birther of all creations of sound, light, and vibration. That ancient Aramaic is the word spoken by Jesus. Avun the Bashmaya Nitkdashmach. So Avun the Bashmaya, literally in ancient Aramaic, you're having ancient languages come through. Oh, Father, Mother, birther, most beloved Father, Mother, okay? God, Goddess, whatever words you have for that. Birther of all creation, of light, sound, and vibration. That's all that you be. That's your I am, right? That's all of creation. And they say the sounds created here are the sounds of creation. So I'm going to read what it is that her message is. I see the light. In my own darkness, I face my ego beliefs to feel free. Shinjava Shekiatra Satkotima. I don't know her story. I haven't pulled her card much. Can I invite that energy through, please, and to work through Sonia right now, and anybody else that needs and wants that wisdom and that healing that's coming through. Magic Labdron. Abzandia Katawa Shutru. So I'm going to take a breath in, let yourself feel her around you. Maybe like you'll feel the hair rise on your neck. You'll get a sense of that coolness or heat around your body like a ripple effect, a wave. Open the crown and breathe and say, I receive. What is it I need right now? What is it you need to show me? What is it I need to feel or release and let go? So we're just asking open questions. So this being takes the dark and transmutes it into light. She was the female Buddha. So as a little girl, when she was born, she would read holy texts, wisdom texts. And people considered it a great blessing to have this text that she read in their homes. And she went to a monastic order to learn that, and she married when she left that. She's referred to as the red and white essence of mystical union. She practiced tantric union. So Lindsay, that came in with you. Something around the tantra energies tonight is coming in with her husband while raising a family together. So she was all about the conscious conception, bringing forth of light through conception. All her creations were conscious and brought through tantric energy, which is root and sacral. which are seed sounds and vibrations. She developed a practice called Chod, and they were the teachings from Tibet. It was about a cutting off ritual. So anything that obstructs the achievement of freedom, like ego beliefs or binds, okay, or cords or attachments, were keeping us from realizing the nature of reality, the truth of all that we be. So she says that you would visualize those cords, those attachments, those desires that you have or stories that you have, and then mentally cut them off from your body, offering them, to earth or to God or to source. So Jan dia jan dunya dia tahoa sitinya khatea takoya sitia khatakawa. Bringing the shadow into consciousness and accessing the treasure it holds rather than repressing it. This is kind of what I spoke of earlier. We can't rise above it. It's what the message grandmother of Jesus came through with Anna. We can no longer, we need to feel it and move it through, forgive it, come into love and compassion as we acknowledge it, and then move through. This is how it's transmuted. All shadow, all beliefs, all not serving us, we acknowledge it, we talk to it, we bring it into awareness, we forgive it, we bring in compassion, we ask for what it needs, and we give it what it needs, and then it's gone. We no longer repress or escape or numb out from anything. This brings us into enlightenment, making what is dark consciousness. Those who cause us pain also teach us patience. Those who bring us gifts can sometimes distract us from our spiritual path. There is no right and wrong. Hasakata, no one has the power to derail us. So we might think we're not power, we don't have power. So I'm just getting some energies around. And this is collective as well, like frustration, irritation, anger, fury, rage, all the versions of that. And you can see there's loads in that. There's irritation, there's frustration, there's anger, there's rage, there's fury. Like there's 5 different things that people might just call anger, but there's not. There's 5 textures of that. And that might live in 5 different parts of the body. Where do we need to bring consciousness to that? What does it need? What do we feel from it? It could be the government. You'd speak to the government. It could be the person next door, the neighbor, the shopper, a family member. Because a lot of that's coming right now. Division and separation, rejection, abandonment, can or cannot. That brings us all those emotions. And that can kind of fester silently behind us, or it could be projected onto us from others. You're not complying with how we want you to be. And you might feel, well, you're not complying with what I want you to be. Can you not see the truth? They don't see the truth, but that makes us feel like crazy. How could you not see it? It's the same energy reverted back. They're like, we want to be in the dark. We're like, we want you in the light. We still have the want, right? I'm kind of giving an example, but that's 2 opposites of the same coin, the same energy. That's the warrior energy. And it's the same thing with love. Like, I love you if you do that. I love you if you show up that way. There's conditions. And then that was like, I won't love you when you do that. This whole, like, there's a game in it. Clear, revoke, rescind, delete. And that's very confusing, and I'm getting childhood stuff there. It's very confusing for children. They don't understand then how to be. There's a molding of how they be to try to be accepted into what is accepted. Anywhere that's true, conformity, release, revoke, rescind, delete that, because it's not aligned to the true being of who we are. We can't fully be true when we're in that energy. And sometimes that can show up as either the rebel or the people pleaser, like 2 opposites of the same coin. Release the cords and the binds attaching us to that right here, right now. What else is she coming to say to you? She's saying the word spirit of peace. Breathe in the spirit of peace. Be in communion with the spirit of peace. How can we be in peace? Is by accessing that part of us that maybe we've locked the door on, or we've wrapped away, and speaking to it, bringing it to light so we can fully experience joy and bliss as it integrates. We become more whole. We're no longer rejecting. We become more whole. We're no longer hiding. We become more whole. We have been unveiled. We are the rising of that divineness, divine feminine rising. So let me see what else it says. We get used to functioning with only one wing. We wonder, how can I fly with two? Oh, this is interesting. The darkness within us isn't actually dark. It often feels threatening because some aspect of our intuition knows that when we face it, this is like shame or stuff like that, right? When we face it, we will reclaim a lost part of our soul. We will heal. We will become more whole. And that, ironically, can be terrifying. We get so used to functioning with only one wing, we wonder, how will I fly now with two? I'll go far too high. Who will I become now that I am free? And who will I lose in the evolution of my soul? Who do I have to leave behind? So she's here to support us in seeing what's ready to come into consciousness, and her diamond heart holds us, Hasekya, as we release the fear. Is there an ego belief that I'm ready to see and release within me? Is there a rule I have that needs to be revised? Who am I afraid to let go of? What am I afraid to let go of? What if they don't love me? That's what I'm hearing, like, what if they don't love me? I invite clarity in for that as well. What if I'm not accepted? What if it doesn't work? What if it's all fake and false? Can we bring through the inner guidance and trust? Sabdali need to koeshia. Osram Danawe, Oshamzana Khairiara, say yes. So that, Sonia, was your message. It's pretty broad. I'm assuming it's going to be for a lot of people as well. That whole womb space again, like that contraction, that expansion in the womb and the root is coming up again. If I use the word shame or guilt, and maybe there's something deep down there, like unworthiness. Shame and guilt often go hand in hand. Anywhere that's true, release, revoke, rescind, delete that, not good enough. So yes, you come into light and the truth of all that you be. Undanasai kia mashatia takwa de nura. Kano Easiatiano Make asatakawa saturoko Easiu Meno bombandine candono. Sakatama Shutria Dayeti Na Siriava Amawasi Mio Kunanane Lo Sotoya Siama Moshotoye. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing. Thank you for trusting. Blessings be upon you all. And release all expectations of what it should look like and should be. Let yourself just relax in the breath. Play some music and dance is what I'm getting. Play some music and dance. So that is Sonia's card. Let me check the time because I don't know when I've been on. Oh, it's what, 20 past 10. I don't know how long I've been on. 1:11. 111 is how long I've been on. So it's exactly 11:11 just there. It's now 2 seconds past that as I look, whether that's a sign to close it off. Okay, we're getting the tigers coming through, tiger energy. Year of the tiger, what does that mean? It's big tiger energy. And on the tiger, okay, we're having some goddesses come through. Who sits on the tiger? Oh. Durga? Is that you? Who's bringing that energy in? Because that's not coming from me right now. Somebody's watching and bringing that through. You've already connected with that energy of that divine aspect of mother. And she's coming in with lots of love right now. And she's on the back of a tiger and she's showing us that we're entering the year of the tiger. I need to look this up because I don't really, it's not like my religion, I suppose. I don't know. It's linked to Vedic and Hinduism. I don't, it's not linked to me. Wow, she's coming in with a lot of love. She wants us to open our hearts and she wants us to receive the gifts that she's going to bear and to bring to us to help us move through that darkness that maybe we feel stuck in or see around us. She's calling them the booms. And she's talking about our devotion towards her, that when we recognize her and work through the darkness and bring our consciousness to where that itself is devotion. When we're in devotion to ourselves in that way, moving through that darkness, we are in devotion to her, just by circumstance, de facto. Absatya tia kanda uatia kanda noye. Durga, Durga, Durga se. Durga mosakatara mahataki. Durga umdim nara nara nara. Umdim nara nara nara. Umdim nara nara nara. Eno sagata gamba gamba sena klingana gamba gamba. Durga gamba sena kinda nana gamba gamba gamba. Durga klim gana para gamba gamba gamba. Eo sondono sandanam hatki. She's coming through there with the elements of water, of earth, of fire, and of air. All that makes up her being, all that is nature around us. And she's inviting a balancing of those natures within us to heal the body and purify. Yes, please. I'm saying yes straight away to that. So anywhere we've been out of balance, release, focus, and delete, come into the true healing of all that we be. Who does not feel they deserve to be healed? Who is holding on to their pain? She's saying that really loudly. Ayata. Allow me to work through you. Command it to be so, and I will come. Dana dia dahata. Adroto ma shaye chiakadanani. Okay, thank you. I'm going to look that up now and learn a little bit about that. Just different aspects of the Divine Mother that you guys are help bringing through to me tonight. So thank you. This is all about co-creation, right? Lindsay, lots of activations, Kundalini rising through the work. Okay, I'm so feeling that tonight. Absolutely love you, Mary. Oh, geez, I love you too, Linda. Lindsay, why am I calling you Linda? Lindsay. Awesome. Feeling the neck pain pass off, physio sessions, therapist help, appreciate. Okay, perfect. Okay. I feel like you've been doing lots of work astrally, and I feel like a lot of that, which is kind of what I mentioned, is a bit of warrior work, right? Like fight in the dark. And sometimes we unconsciously, consciously do that. I caught myself doing that, especially during where those dimensional holes were open at that Astro World Festival. I was doing that coming up to it and doing it after. I didn't even know what was going on. Now, part of that is soul travel, and it's not like we're conscious, but we can feel into our programs even around that sometimes, like of being here to help and to serve. Particularly those of us that have a lot of lifetimes where we have a belief we didn't complete the mission. That's why we're back here. Or maybe even aided and abetted the mission in the opposite direction, releasing ourselves the responsibility for that. I'm saying that out loud. This really may not resonate with a lot of you. It might with just a couple, and that's why I'm saying it for those couple. Because sometimes those of us that are in that are almost, so we can even overcompensate. So release revoke rescind, release revoke rescind anywhere we're even doing that unconsciously, consciously. There's an oxymoron, but it feels true because it's something I've personally experienced. Release revoke rescind, delete that. Angelina, I'll do it again another time. I'm finished now. I can feel the closing out with Durga that came through. She came through for us all. Angelique, next year's Year of the Tiger. I need to look this up. It was really clear, and I could like the way it moves. You know, that muscular when it walks, like you really see it, and the stripes on it, and feel it, almost smell it. It was coming in really quick, and then I realized somebody was on it. Oh, so what is the spirit totem of the tiger and Durga on the tiger? I need to look up. Sonia, you're a bully. Okay. Okay, my love. Okay. Shame and guilt. Okay. Well, you're doing the work. Yeah. It's that the warrior, we use the warrior to survive when we need it, and it's totally to be honored. And we're all warriors of light. And somebody said something to me a month ago about she changed the word light worker, light warrior to champion. Warrior became the champion because it's already won. The fight is over, it's already won, and act as if it's so. What if we believe that was so? It's a perspective shift. And then the energy isn't in the fight. And fight, by the way, is your nervous system's in gear in fight, right? Fight, flight, faint. It means then you're in the parasympathetic, you're in rest, digest, homeostasis, peace, calm, with that perspective of champion. It's the champion energy. Like it's that, it's much easier to be in because I have had that. I'm reworking that myself. I might not quite have it down yet. I'm finding words to explain it. But I suppose it hit us where it needs to hit us, like energetically, move to us where we need it. Elements on Feng Shui, air, fire, water, earth. Wonderful. Thank you, Angelique, for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. How wonderful it has been to share this evening with you. And I will see, I hope, all of you, if not most of you. Taking a breath in there. On the 21st of December, on the solstice. And this was a reading of the energies that's coming in. So you'll see what I pulled at the start for the message that's coming through for the solstice, and what's come through tonight is also, it's collective. Like, you know, everything I do is always not just for one person, it's for many. Releasing attachment, scarcity consciousness. Okay, coming out of fear, like hoarding. Are we holding on to physical stuff too? Are we foreseeing where we need to hoard because we're foreseeing scarcity? And is that an energy of, yes, we can prepare, but are we foreseeing from the space of fear and then hoarding from fear? There's a little questioning in that to feel into. Unbind ourselves, releasing soul patterns, contracts. We have the beautiful orange dragons come through. This is the bridge. This is what we're creating. We're bringing soul families and communities together. We're here to spread belonging and oneness, and accessing inner guidance from Sirius. And of course, we had our most beloved grandmother, the mother of Mary, the Christ of consciousness, the grandmother of Yeshua, which is all about seeding the light, laying foundations, and there is a divine plan. We have a little nod towards all the dimensions and portals opening up here with Egypt and England, Glasgow, all the sacred centers of Earth. And of course, this is the sacred navel center as well. Like, so a little nod to these sacred areas that within our bodies and within Earth. These dimensional portals open on the 21st as well. I will see you then, 7:30, the 21st. Register in the links because that's how you get the Zoom link to access. And to access the recording within 48 hours after, you need to be registered as well. It's donation based. If aligned, we'd love to receive your donations here. Your donations so far, by the way, have helped us set up Ticket Tailor and Zoom. They've helped pay for some of the administrative duties that need to be done to create this community and to build it and to grow it with the vision that we have. So your donations are going completely into this space and to be given back out again. So thank you for those of you that donated in the past, and every little thing is received with love. Yeah, this is the guide coming in. We're here to build a community and we do that together. And this is those rays of children coming in, what we're creating for those new beings. And we're the guardians of that new earth, of those new beings, those new souls coming in. Whether we have children or not, we're the guardians, just as we're the guardians of Earth. So that orange dragon is a big part of that as well. Okay, my loves, I will see you the 21st. Along with my other sisters in the Star Tribes. We cannot wait. We are looking forward to this co-creation. I love you, I love you, I love you. Spread the word. Express. If you feel anybody needs or wants to be on this, share it on your page. It's so appreciated. We're still building this. It's not a big group yet. We're still anchoring and laying our own foundations here, but your word helps us grow. It's like another hand extended out for us to link and create that vision that we saw. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love, good night, and see you soon. Drink lots of water, by the way, for those of you that received the transmissions tonight. It's 1:22, so I bid you farewell.